By now, the news has reached you that the third installment of Chris Nolan's Batman series, The Dark Knight Rises, is going to film and come to Pittsburgh. Everybody has been coming out of the woodwork to take praise for bringing the movie into the burg. But those people should not be taking the praise. Rather, it should be a building, the Civic Arena. Because what brought Chris Nolan into town to film his segment of The Dark Knight Rises was the promise that he could blow up the Civic Arena. What, you say, Fior? What are you talking about? There may have been collusion between the Pittsburgh Film Office, the production of The Dark Knight Rises, the Sports and Exhibition Authority of Pittsburgh, and of course, Governor Tom Corbett's office. Let me see if I can explain by putting this in a little bit of a timeline for you here. In September, the Mellon Arena reverted back to the Civic Arena when everybody shifted and moved across the street to the Consol Energy Center. And in September, the Civic Arena was due to go kaboom. Along comes November, and there's a fight. Some people want to keep the Civic Arena. It's historic. They put it up in front of the Historic Society of Pittsburgh, and they want to keep the building and maybe just furbish the inside a little bit. Everyone's at peace through the holidays, and then all of a sudden in February, new governor takes place and he's building up a budget, and right away, the Pittsburgh Film Office starts with a deluge of press releases and reports saying that it is a viable part of the Pittsburgh community and it must have its $60 million funding. They were so afraid that Tom Corbett was going to give it the axe because the Republicans came in and promised fiscal responsibility. Now, I've got a great article on this on my Examiner.com piece. If you want to read about all the little behind-the-scenes stuff and the machinations, go right ahead and you can find out how much the Pittsburgh Film Office is actually viable to the area. It's all written out in there, and you can check it out on Examiner.com. In the meantime, as Corbett is looking over, the Pittsburgh Film Office that had an inkling that Chris Nolan might want to bring The Dark Knight Rises to Pittsburgh starts using that as a counterweight. Look, if we don't get our funding, we are not going to be able to have the Batman movie come in here. This is a summer blockbuster. We need this. It'll boost the economy. Now it's starting to get a little tricky, right? Meantime, the Sports and Exhibition Authority of Pittsburgh is caught with this albatross around its neck. It's got an awful lot of work to do over on Consol. Why does it want the Civic Arena hanging around its back? So some meetings happen in dark places behind closed rooms, and bang, before you know it, by the time March comes along, several things happen. First, Governor Corbett says, you know what? I'm not going to give you a raise to the Pittsburgh Film Office. You're not getting $75 million, but I will keep your budget the same. You get the $60 million. Then the Historical Society says, you know what? We don't need this Civic Arena. Blow it up. And then there's the announcement that, yes, definitely Chris Nolan is coming in. People started to say, why is he coming in? You need to have at least 60% of your budget videotaped or shot in a place before you can apply for the tax credit, the 25% tax credit that the Pittsburgh Film Office supplies producers. Guess what? Chris Nolan gets to blow up the Civic Arena. He absorbs the cost of the demolition, working hand in hand with the Sports and Exhibition Authority of Pittsburgh. The Civic Arena blows up on camera, and The Dark Knight Rises, immortalized. He picks up the cost, and by doing so, even though he's only staying here 4, maybe 6 weeks at the most, which would not qualify for the 25% tax cut, add in the cost of blowing up the arena, and guess what? Chris Nolan is able to get tax credits in Pittsburgh and in another state as well. Not bad for a production, eh? And it all comes down to the green. The name of the show is Outtakes, and I'm Fiore. This segment of Outtakes is brought to you by John Carpenter, who is suddenly very hot in Hollywood once again. They not only are remaking his classic The Thing, but now they are going to remake They Live. that vehicle that made Roddy Piper the movie star that he is today. Thanks, John. You know, to remake or not to remake, that's really what this all boils down to. And I've been hearing a lot of people complaining about the number of remakes, and it seems that those amounts of complaints are escalating every year. But folks, let me tell you something. There's a reason to make a remake. And the one reason is if you have a classic story. If you have a classic story, then it needs to be retold over and over again. Hell, it's what made Shakespeare the bard that he is it not? Now, there are some reasons not to make a remake. One of those reasons is to just pay homage to a filmmaker or a film. Or as they like to say in Tinseltown now, homage. They give it the Francais speaking, so they don't lose their balance. And the other reason not to make a remake is because, well, there's a whole new generation that's never seen this movie. That's cultural illiteracy. If a movie's that good, there's no reason, especially with all of the electronics and the net, why somebody can't sit down and watch an original classic. Now, what does all this bring us up to? It brings us up to the movie Arthur. They remade it. A lot of people are upset. It's not a bad remake. Let me tell you the big difference. The original was very funny. This one is cute.
Only place in Manhattan where you can see the stars. But it wasn't always that way. Oh, you again. If you look in the corner, you can see one dirty brick, and the whole ceiling used to be like that until it was renovated in 1998.
Wow, this is brilliant. If you like ceilings, I've got a beautiful one above my bed. That sounded cheeky. I didn't mean that. It lights up.
Thanks for that. If you direct your attention to the opposite corner, you'll see a police officer.
Miss, I warned you about this. Now, you don't have a tour license, and now you're impeding foot traffic. Come on, up, everybody up.
Officer, which law prevents this radiant stranger from finding the magical in the mundane?
MTA Code 1085.1, Section 5.
Could you be more specific?
Hey! Hey!
Oh, there's a chase! We're in a chase! Sir, grab my Lincoln stick! Chase! My mind was racing. My heart is pounding. This is my first chase, and I love it! Let me through! I'm a free spirit!
One of the big differences in this movie is main star. When you watch the original Arthur, Dudley Moore is funny. When he's drunk, you actually know that he's drunk. There's no question about it. That is very ambiguous in the new one because Russell Brand has played a slacker for so long, there is virtually no difference between his slacker and his drunk. So the impact is lost.
I hear you have something to ask me.
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact, Susan. Would you mind telling me what the bloody hell's been going on?
We're having a magical night. I don't understand.
You don't understand that there's a macabre conspiracy to inveigle me into a loveless marriage. Susan, we should not get married. We don't have anything in common, do we? I mean, we don't like the same food, veal. I think that's really cruel. Do you like it because it's cruel? We don't like the same people, music. You love horses.
I do.
I don't trust them.
Yes, but if you
It's
think
their
about
eyes,
this
their
is
sneaky
a business.
feet.
Stay with me.
Their shoes are permanent.
All you have to
Who
do-
makes that kind of a commitment
We
to
get
a
on.
shoe?
Most marriages devolve eventually into some sort of business
face it.
partnership. So think of this. This is all it is. It's a business partnership with the added benefit of attraction. Reach into your pocket, pull out the ring, and say 4 little words.
Okay, I don't love you.
Try again.
See this version of Arthur, but do not see it in place of the original. Rather, see it along with the original. This way you can compare the two. The rating for the remake of Arthur is a B, and the BFCA rating is a 7 out of 10.
When I was little, you used to say, Arthur, you can do anything under the sun. I never spoke like that. It was a bit like that.
That was before you paid Elton John $2 million to sing over the PA in a grocery store.
You know, it was Easter. I think I could live without the money.
Oh, yes? How?
I'd get a job. What?
Fine. Fine, go ahead. Get a job.
I am a grown man and I shall join the mature world of gainful employment to prove it. Don't let that undermine what I just said.
This segment of Outtakes is brought to you by Johnny Depp, one of the busiest people in Hollywood. He is now going to play Nick Charles in the remake of The Thin Man. Kind of interesting, huh? Oh, Dashiell Hammett. Always good to see Dashiell Hammett on the big screen. Let's talk a little bit about Hannah. What? What? This is weapon of mass destruction going on? You know, the only thing that salvages this film in any way, shape, or form is Jeff Amata. He's one of the stalwarts for choreographing fights and action sequences in Hollywood. And while he has to hide everything when poor Hannah's on screen, her dad, in the guise of Eric Bana, has a couple of real good fight scenes. But other than that, skip this one.
Hannah! Hannah, please! I tried to prepare you for what your life would be.
You didn't prepare me for this.
Run!
Your Highness, I hate to resort to cliches, but this movie is total excrement on celluloid. There is nothing worthwhile about this. It does brag, however, in the end credits that it's green, which means it's environmentally friendly, but that can't stop the stink. Flush this one.
I want to be king.
Yeah, we can both be king.
No, I want to be king by myself.
Well, cheer up, brother. I have something else that you can be.
What?
Best man at my wedding. I can think of no one else I'd want by my side.
Sounds tedious and boring.
If I'm not mistaken, it is a tradition that the best man gets to lay with the bridesmaids. Plural.
Really? I've never heard of this tradition. Deal.
Oh, you're gonna be so handsome. Who's gonna be the most handsome best man?
Probably me.
Who's the prince with the most dashing mustache?
Me?
Who gives the warmest hugs?
Me, of course.
I love you, Thaddeus.
Oh, that's cool.
This segment of Outtakes is brought to you by Stan Lee, who is more popular now in Hollywood than I think he ever was, because this is being tagged as one of the summers of the superheroes. And first up is Thor. You see, there are a lot of superheroes, but only one is a god. The big question is, did Triple H actually do the body double work in this movie?
News coming out of the southwestern United States. A series of disturbances coming in from all around the tri-state.
Sir, we found it.
Government agencies have now cordoned off the area and are investing. The light that came down.
Jane, I think you want to see this. You alright?
You dare threaten me, Thor, with so puny a weapon?
What? He was freaking me out. Where did he come from? Name?
He said it was Thor.
You know, for a crazy homeless person, he's pretty cut.
How'd you get inside that cloud?
Also, how could you eat an entire box of Pop-Tarts and still be this hungry?
This drink, I like it. Another!
This is going on Facebook. Smile.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same.
But who are you, really?
You'll see soon enough.
God, I hope you're not crazy.
Do you swear to guard the lives of the innocent and preserve the peace?
I swear.
I will destroy their kind.
You can't kill an entire race
And die with them.
These people are innocent. I have no plans to die today.
I will return. actions would unleash.
Everything now is building toward the first Avenger movie, and to get us there, we need the tale of the first Avenger. Of course, it's Captain America.
Rogers, Steven.
Just give me a chance.
Sorry, son.
I'm saving your life.
General Patton has said that wars are fought with weapons, but they are won by men.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I could do this all day.
Our goal is to create the greatest army in history.
I should be going with you. Look, I know you don't think I can do this.
This isn't a back alley, Steve. It's war.
But every army begins with one man.
5 tries in 5 different cities. I can offer you a chance.
He will be the first in a new breed of super soldiers.
Why me?
Because the weak man knows the value of strength, knows the value of power.
That wasn't so bad.
That was penicillin.
We are going to win this war because we have the best men.
Now, Mr. Stark.
And they will personally escort Adolf Hitler to the gates of hell.
How do you feel?
Taller.
Your task won't be simple.
Who the hell are you? The first of many.
Your enemy is not what you expect.
I don't know if I can do this.
This is why you were chosen.
What do you think?
I think it works.
Now, all of you DC fans are saying, Fiora, why didn't you talk about the Green Lantern? Something is going wrong, seriously wrong with the Green Lantern. They used to have trailers and pictures and everything put up on the website where we professional journalists pull that information from. And now everything has been erased, blanked, gone. Ooh. Not a good sign, kids. Not a good sign at all. Want to find out what's going on behind the scenes? You've got a couple different options for you here. First, definitely check out Examiner.com. My page there has information you're not going to find anywhere else. And that big story I broke this show off with, a lot more detail on Examiner.com. And please join us on Facebook. Sign in to Facebook. Type up in the corner, Outtakes with Fiore. You'll see the page come up. Everything, every day posted there is golden. You're not going to want to miss out. The name of the show is Outtakes. And I'm Fiore. But you knew that.